So in the meme stack, this is the next technology that we can see, like for implementing the databases, that is called as MongoDB. Okay, so we are going to see what is a MongoDB and how it is different from the regular RDBMS softwares. So all these we are going to learn in this particular session. First of all, uh, we have suppose a full scale very large kind of application that is actually running. Suppose in the case of the Walmart, 24 million transactions are processed in given one day. Okay, so in a given any day's particular transactions are going to this much of amount, 24 million. Then for the Facebook, 100 TB of data is continuously being uploaded, as well as the posts are going to be seen. So this is the network traffic that we can see. 100 TBs of data we are going to have in any given day for the Facebook. Similarly, Twitter is also having 175 million tweets. So these are some sample statistics that are drawn only for a single day. So that means we can understand in a given month period, it can go to some trillions of data that we are continuously uploading or as well as downloading. So then one question comes to the mind, that is how to store, query and process these data efficiently. That means we are not talking in terms of the normal RDBMS relational database concepts that you got to know in the DBMS classes. So this is something different. Okay, so in any given project, normally you will not be having this much amount of data that is happening from your project. Okay, so this is very highly scalable application, and the traffic is also humongous, and data requirement, data generation is also very high when you compare with the normal applications. So it is not a normal application that you can see, either you are talking about the Walmart or Facebook or Twitter or Amazon, anything like these days we are seeing in the internet. So then the question comes to the mind is how to store, query and process these data efficiently. So one term that is particularly important is the processing, storing, querying is capable with the RDBMS also, RDBMS software also, but the efficiency will not be there when we are processing this much amount of data from your databases. So the efficiency parameter is very important, because the application scalability, performance with these companies like Facebook and Twitter is the most important factor that comes to the help of their applications. So the efficiency is now what we are going to see under this particular NoSQL databases. So we are talking about the NoSQL. So this is called as non-SQL, or sometimes called as not only SQL. So not only SQL is something different. Like SQL means SQL commands that we can understand, like select star from table, update table, then delete from this table. So all these are the normal SQL operations. But NoSQL is something different. It is not only SQL, or sometimes it is called as NoSQL. That is, it is not exactly not an SQL actually. Okay, structured query language is not that. So that means it is completely unstructured. So NoSQL means it is completely unstructured data formats we are having for our databases. Okay, so the Wikipedia's definition says that a NoSQL database provides a mechanism for storage and retrieval of the data that is modeled in means other than the tabular relations. So other than the whatever the tabular or matrix kind of relations used in the relational databases, that we can treat that as a NoSQL database. That means you will not see any tabular implementations for the NoSQL like you have for your RDBMS software. Suppose this is a table. This table is having some rows. Okay, so these rows are having again subdivided into columns. So these are the columns, and all these rows are actually identified by some primary keys. So this can be 1, 2, 3, something like that, and there can be relational uh, like implementations with the foreign keys. Again, that is nothing but one more table. So in that way, we are mapping the uh, data from one format to another format, how they are actually dependent on each other. So this is where we can see the RDBMS software. So anyway, RDBMS software provides the matrix kind of or tabular kind of formats only. Okay. So any other model which is not in the tabular format, we can see that the storage mechanism, we can see that as the NoSQL. Okay. So SQL and NoSQL. So under the SQL, the SQL means this is completely about the relational databases. The relational means you are going to have purely some relations that are implemented from one table to another table. You are going to have some constraints. So all these are the part of the DBMS, and we assume that we already know that. Okay. So the tables, relations store well-structured data according to a predefined schema. So in any particular given even in any given particular table row, we can have a data. Suppose this is the row number 10. This row number 10 is having some data which is relevant with that username or some that product only. Okay, so that is entirely this particular information is exactly relevant for this row only. This does not relate to any other row which is available under the same table. Okay, so that is how the relations are being mapped in the same row, as well as the relations are being maintained exclusively in a different row, in a different table also. So the schemas actually defined all these relations and well structured formats that they are going to provide. Queries defined according to the standard structure. So whatever we do the query, that is depending on the standard structure. That means whenever you are giving a query, maybe you are fetching the data from this particular table, then you have to call this table name only. Okay, it is not related with any other table unless otherwise you are not using some joins or you are not concatenating the things from different tables. Okay, otherwise you are talking purely about from this particular table one. So in that way, the queries are defined according to the standard structure, and query language is also there, that is completely separate. This is a structured query language where we can use the SQL commands. Okay, then it is having some transactional guarantees, acid properties you might have heard. Okay, so atomicity, consistency, integrity, durability. So all these are part of the RDBMS software. That is, acid means they guarantee the transaction. That means every transaction should be unique and it should be clear and it should be durable. And in that way, the unique operations have to be performed on your database. So the strong transactional guarantees are generally offered by the RDBMS softwares. Okay, because we are going to have some constraints implemented on it, some null fields, then some not null fields, then some indexes. So all these are actually guaranteeing some kind of data durability as well as atomic operations it is actually supporting. But whereas when it is coming to the NoSQL, it is non-relational databases, object-oriented, like non-relational databases also are of several types. First one is object-oriented databases, then document databases, graph databases, key value stores, XML databases. So all these are part of the non-relational databases. Either you might be using this document database, or sometimes you might be using the graph databases. Everything is actually considered under the NoSQL database formats only. Okay, so you take XML databases, you take object-oriented databases. All these are not the structured databases, but whereas they are called as NoSQL databases, and they are schemaless. There is no particular schema that is given to your database, and it is not having any particular structure also. Like you are not going to have the database in a fixed row by column manner, but your data can be like this. One row can be this much, one second row might be this much. Third row may be having some internal data attached with that, and fourth row is again in that way. So in that way, it is completely unstructured. It is not at all uniform. It is highly heterogeneous, and it is not at all uniform, and it will be not looking like a table. Okay, so they are schemaless and highly scalable with relaxed transactional guarantees and limited query expressivity. So these NoSQL database formats are actually implemented for the highly scalable applications because their data requirements are very, very high. So that's why NoSQL is highly efficient while we are having this kind of unstructured data, because the data is not at all dependent on any other relation. Okay, and they are actually offering some relaxed guarantees in the transactions. They are not like the ACID properties, so they are like something relaxed transactional guarantees. That means for, and with limited query expressivity. Limited query expressivity means you are not going to have like the SQL commands select star from this particular table or simply update from any other table. So in that way, we are not going to have fully expressive SQL commands, but whereas the expressivity in the commands are the query commands are somewhat limited. Those things we are going to see in the implementations. Okay, but NoSQLs are highly efficient, highly scalable applications which require heavy transactions on any given minute or any given second. Then examples for the SQL. First one is MySQL. This is an open source RDBMS software. Generally, you do the database operations from the PHP. So this is highly compatible with the PHP. Not only that, it is offering the connectivity with all the technologies, even the Java, ASP.NET, or any other. By using any other technology, you can use the MySQL data operations processing. Then PostgreSQL, then Oracle, then MS SQL Server, then IBM DB2. All these are the proprietary ones. Okay, so Oracle, DB2, MS SQL Server. So all these are the RDBMS implementations. Okay, so in the RDBMS implementations, the queries will be like the select star from, or update from, delete from. Okay, so create table, then providing the indexes. So all this can be done in the RDBMS software. But whereas in the NoSQL, so some of the examples are CouchDB, MongoDB, this we are going to see. Then Apache Jackrabbit, Neo4j, Memcache, Bigtable, Apache Hadoop. So Hadoop you might have heard because it is very trendy in current industry. So all these are the examples for the NoSQL databases. Some are document formats, some are XML based implementations, some are graph based implementations. So the actual storing mechanism is something different, but they are classified under this particular NoSQL category. Okay. Then overview of the NoSQL family. Data is stored in 4 different types. That means it can be stored in a document format. What are the document format databases? CouchDB, then MongoDB, MarkLogic. So these are the examples for the document database. Not only these, some additional databases are there. Some are very, very popular. Some are not that much popular. Then second one is graph-based databases. So Neo4j, Infinite Graph, all these are the graph-based databases where the mapping is being generally done in the by using the graph-based mechanism. So that's why they are classified under the graph databases. And third one is key value page. So Hypertable, then Cassandra, SimpleDB, so Amazon's SimpleDB, Apache HBase. Okay, so all these are the key value databases. So whenever you are going to have some key, the corresponding value can be retrieved immediately, like in the case of the hash maps. Okay, so hash tables you might have seen in the Java and .NET programs. So the same kind of concept is available for accessing the databases in that way. So key value databases are the third kind of category. And fourth one is wide column. So wide column database stores are Redis, Amazon DynamoDB, React. Okay, so some examples are there to see and to know. So how they are actually different from each other. But ultimately, all these are coming under this NoSQL category only. So they are all NoSQL family. Some are storing the databases in the document format. Some are storing the databases in the graph format, or some are storing the databases in a key value fashion. So that is the only difference, because they are not at all using the column based or some table based matrices for storing the data. So that is why they are different from the SQL family. Then the problems with the relational databases are, like, first one is overhead for complex select, update, delete operations. Suppose you are simply operating on a couple of tables, the things may be appearing somewhat easier for you, but as soon as the complexity is growing, like you are having a very big application and you need to combine some 15 tables. Okay, so first combine two tables, then out of that particular table you are going to have some limited data, then you are going to combine that with selected rows from another couple of tables. So all these kinds of operations are highly complex. The complexity varies by the degree. So the n number of tables you are going to have in a single query, the n degrees complexity will be increased. Okay, so that means 3 tables you are combining, 3 times the complexity is increased. Then similarly 5 tables you are joining in a single query, and that means the complexity of the query like 5 times of the normal query. So that's why the problem for the selection, updation, deletion operations are sometimes very difficult. There are some alternative mechanisms available also. You don't have to take all these in a single query. You can simply put them in a stored procedure where you are manipulating the things, getting the results from a couple of joinings. Then out of that selected rows, then you can provide that result into another couple of joining tables. So in that way, you can have some alternative methods. But anyways, the relational databases are very, very complex for having highly connectivity when you are using more than some 5 to 6 tables. So select operation joining too many tables to create huge size table. Then each update affects many other tables. Delete must guarantee the consistency of the data. Delete means there is a dependency table, and if you are deleting from that child table, you have to ensure that parent table is also getting affected. So in that way, the consistency has to be maintained whenever you are having the transactional operations in your RDBMS software. Then it is not well supported, the mix of the unstructured data. So this is one of the basic limitation. SQL or RDBMS softwares are actually completely structured. So that's why they do not support by default the unstructured data. Suppose that you are having some data in this way. Only in the first row all the columns are getting filled, but in the second row you are having only 2 columns that are getting filled, and in the third column the data is like that. You are having the data for only the three columns. Okay, so in that case, even though you do not require that rest of that columns information, still you have to maintain the nulls. So that means it is not the empty, it is a storage that you have to by default make available to this particular row. So in that way, they take the space, they take the storage, and they are actually not supporting the unstructured data. So this is the data is unstructured in my case, but still I have to provide that unstructured data like a structured data only. Even though my data is structured, I have to compel so that the data is getting stored in the format of a structured way only. So that is the main disadvantage if you are using the RDBMS databases. Not well scaling with large size of the data. So scaling is a very, very big problem when you are dealing with a bunch of information which is going to some millions of records, because you have to have indexing that was done for the millions of rows. So the searching operation takes some time. So the scalability is by default limited from the database side itself. It is not from the application side. The database side, the server cannot handle the scalability itself. The RDBMS software is limited to that. Then NoSQL is a good solution to deal with these problems. So all these problems that we have seen in the SQL based operations, so all these are by default overcome by using the NoSQL kind of formats. So advantages of the NoSQL design, first one is agility. So start developing without an extremely long ER. First of all, in the DBMS concepts, you might have been told that first of all, you need to create a entity relationship diagram. First of all, before creating your schema itself, okay. First of all, you have to think, you have to think and create the visual mapping of your entire database, like in the case of the ER diagram or by using any other mechanism. Then you are going to have your schemas that are created. Then only you can push some data into that. Okay. So the starting of the development is by using some mapping, which is a relationship actually that you have to clear, that you have to given in a very clear manner. Then model design, then flexible for schema changes as you go without penalty. Okay. So flexible for schema changes as you go without penalty. That means we are talking in terms of the NoSQL. So by default in the NoSQL, you don't have to create this ER diagram. So that's why the agility is there. That means you can speed up the operations before having some kind of mapping that is created from your end. Similarly, there is a flexibility for the schema changes. That means suppose initially you have taken only 4 columns, like for example, then after some time you thought of taking some extra 2 columns. That means it is added up with 2 more columns. Right now the columns are got incremented by 6. After some few days of your database implementation, you have stretched that data to 15 columns. Till by the time your schema normally would have been changed multiple times in the SQL database format, but whereas in the NoSQL operation, you don't have to worry about that. Okay, that's because schema is not that much important. Okay, so the schema is very flexible in this case, and without penalty, without any additional burden from the database developer, the things can be developed parallelly without any efforts. Then polymorphic schema models variable structure with ease. So different schema models can be laid up, and the structure can be easily laid down. So all these are the advantages of the NoSQL designs. Then scalability, shared nothing architecture versus centrally controlled system eliminates any single point of failure. Okay, shared nothing architecture means because the database servers are actually operated like a nodes, centrally operated nodes, and they are controlled from a single point of place. So thereby, it eliminates any single point of failure by this NoSQL designs, allows self-healing capabilities and non-disruptive upgrades, because there is not any centrally controlled system, because the things can be shared across multiple database servers. Okay, so that's why the scalability is very high, and as well as the point of failures are also very low, and they can heal themselves. What is meaning of healing? Suppose at one node the network disruption happened, so the distributed database servers gives the capability to search for alternative database, so thereby having the services immediately launch from the next second onwards. So that is how the things can happen. By the meanwhile, the first failed server can be reactivated by the developer or any other manager. It scales horizontally linearly. So horizontal scaling is can be done easily. There is no kind of a vertical scaling that has to be given, and it can be linearly scalable. Sharding and load balancing is there. We will come to know this particular sharding term in the future slides. So sharding is there, load balancing is also there. Auto balance ensures a balances cluster. So automatically all these are actually happening in the NoSQL database format. So that's why the scalability is somewhat very high when you compare with the RDBMS softwares. So first advantage is agility, second advantage is scalability, and the MongoDB. So this is one particular data format. The MongoDB is the NoSQL, coming from the NoSQL family, and it is designed, developed by Tengen. So this is a company that was developed this particular format, document-based format, and it is a NoSQL database. It is an open source, and as we can understand, this is a document-oriented database, and data is generally stored in the JSON-like documents. So that means if you know the JSON, you can handle the MongoDB very easily. So that is what the understanding that we can have. Designed with both scalability and developer agility. So scalable applications also we can develop easily, as well as developer agility means you can launch up your database in less than 5 minutes. Your entire database, that means with the basic implementation, you can start up the operation within few minutes of doing the JSON, having the JSON data. So that's why it is very fast and very robust, and it is highly scalable and flexible also, and it is having dynamic schemas. Like in the case of the SQL based tabular formations, we don't have to have very rigid schemas that are going to be implemented, and some flexible or some dynamic implementations we can provide to our databases. So that's why the schema is also very dynamic. The entire table, the entire database is also very dynamic, and in that way we are having very good databases that are coming out of from this MongoDB. So MongoDB's main goal was to create a new type of database that combined the robustness of a relational database with the fast throughput of distributed key value data stores. Okay. So MongoDB's main goal was to create a new type of database, is combining the robustness as well as the relational databases concept with the fast throughput of the distributed key value data stores. So with the fast throughput of the distributed key value data stores. Another key design goal was to support web application development in the form of standard JSON outputs. So we will see this. So how this particular JSON outputs are going to be generated by using the MongoDB. Then these two design goals turned out to be the MongoDB's greatest advantages over other solutions, as these aligned perfectly with other trends of the web development. So other trends of the web development means nowadays the API development, the uniformity in the data and availability of the data is like common format of the data is also pretty much required. So you will be having a mobile application development as well as web services, or sometimes you may be having the web application. All these are having same kind of data format, and that's why the ubiquitous formats of these particular data is actually has given the boost for this particular MongoDB's advantage also for this document based data formats, because ultimately the database storage mechanism is in this format JSON. So nowadays cloud virtualization and horizontal scaling, vertical scaling, all these are supported. So MongoDB is perfectly fitting into all these requirements. So that's why the popularity of the MongoDB is also very high. Then why to use the MongoDB? It is a document-based storage. The data is stored in the JSON style. Index can be given on any attribute. Okay. In the SQL operations, you might have seen the indexing can be done on the unique key values you are having, or that means the primary key values that you are having. And you cannot have suppose your database table is having some 100 columns. You cannot have 100 indexings that are applicable on that column. You may have some 3, 5, at the most 10, because if you increase the indexing capabilities on any given table, accordingly the performance penalty will also be there. So that's why normally, naturally, you can give a single indexing by using the primary key. In additional cases, you can implement with multiple columns also, multiple attributes also. But it's not like that every column is acting like an indexing on your database. It is simply a performance penalty in the NoSQL, in the SQL categories. But whereas this is completely reversed in the NoSQL category, indexing can be done on any attribute. Attribute means any column. All the columns are supporting the indexing feature. Then replication and high availability. Replication means you can replicate the database across multiple database servers. So that's why your availability is highly, that means you are having some 100% availability of your database. Then auto sharing. This is one common feature that is available in the MongoDB. Rich queries with simple formats. Then fast in-place updates. Okay, so updations can be given in a very, very fast manner. And professional support by the MongoDB forum, and easier and faster integration of the data. So these are the key features of the MongoDB. So that's why naturally it becomes the choice for the highly scalable applicational developers. Okay, so those who are concentrating on building some highly scalable applications with some high availability, with simple formattings, and they can provide the data in very, very rich format across all the platforms. The platform is like they can be mobile, that can be the API services, that can be the web services or some websites. So if you want to do those kind of projects, so then MongoDB is the natural choice for you. Okay. So we will understand this slide. So MongoDB versus relational databases. If you see the MongoDB, if you see the relational databases, things will be looking like this. Okay, so you are having n number of tables, and one table is actually having some dependencies. Okay, so in that way, we are having the data which is actually used in the format of these kind of references. So all these are the foreign key references or some primary key references. So in that way, all these are actually connected. Okay, so this is how we can have the relational database structures. Suppose viewing a single submission would have required pulling data from 6 tables if we had used the relational database. So suppose we do have a requirement that the entire information from a particular category you need to fetch by joining the tables from these 6 different tables. Then only your particular entire full information on any given rows on any given resource is available. But whereas when you see the MongoDB document, you can have the information which is looking like this,